Okay.
All right.
We said we were going to do it.
The big one.
So, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker in cinemas now. We want to give you our spoiler-filled
review.
We want to break it down.
The main one.
We want to throw the questions out there. We want to know what you think of the film and what you think of our theories, and we just want to share and talk about this in a safe environment. So
people are going to hate my theories.
I'm excited for
I'm excited, yeah.
Unfortunately, Mark's in Mildura, and we're not going to try and Skype him because his phone overheated when we tried to do that before.
He melted.
So we all saw it last night. So it's Thursday at the moment when we're recording this.
And we should put it out there straight away. We all genuinely liked the film.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it. You guys were pretty like, yeah.
Yeah, I had fun.
Hey,
yeah.
I could pick this film apart, but I don't want to. You know what?
I have.
I'm expecting that.
I'm expecting the second time I watch it that I'll get a little bit more nitpicky, but right now I'm riding on the hype of how much I loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to hearing the nitpicky stuff, because it sounds like I definitely think Meso picked up on a lot of it.
I don't have much, but yeah, it's just because I'm not an Uber fan, so the things that really got a rise out of you guys, I was sort of like...
Yep. That's about right, I guess.
Yeah, I can see where that's
well,
going.
let's get straight into it.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, what we have is Rey. She is now pretty much a Jedi.
Yeah.
In the first time we see Rey, she's floating and rocks are all around her.
Yeah.
And she's trying to speak to Jedi of past and try and learn knowledge from Jedi that...
And she's getting trained by Leia. Leia is her master.
She is a Jedi.
Which, we're jumping ahead a bit, but we do find out that Luke trained Leia as a Jedi, which is pretty huge, and that's why she can do the Mary Poppins thing.
Yes, and it explains a lot. We kind of gathered that she was
Force sensitive, but we didn't know she was a Jedi.
Anyway.
But she'd given away the Jedi feeling.
It's kind of nice. So Rey and Leia had obviously built a relationship throughout the time between the two films, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So Rey called her master, so she was proper Jedi.
Literally a Jedi master. One thing I do like that we have missed this whole training thing. Like, we got a bit of it with Luke in The Last Jedi. But it's nice that she's just kick-ass now. We all knew she was going to get to this level. I'm sure there's probably a comic or something that will explain the training between her and Leia. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of like, okay, cool. She's kick-ass. Let's move on. She can just do awesome stuff.
Absolutely.
And then they're quick off the bat to show you how cool she is. Like, the first planet that Rey, Finn, and Poe go and venture on together, Rey does a flip over a TIE fighter,
cuts his wing off,
and then stops the transport that we believe Chewbacca was in from flying off by using the Force, and shoots lightning out of her freaking hands and blows the thing up.
God, that was so cool.
She also managed to look very confused at the Indian Colour Festival as well.
What were you saying? It was like the white girl Instagram.
White girl in India. It was just like...
look at me.
Yeah.
It was, when they did land there and she was going through the market or whatever it was.
That's
and
great. Though. Star Wars is, there's 1 billion people now happy with the movie. Hitting their markets.
They're ticking all the boxes in this new film. So obviously Rey OP.
Yeah. But in a way that she's not aware of, though.
Yeah.
Like, and we're still like, we know she's kick-ass. Like I said at the start of the film, she's kicking all kinds of butt, but she's still learning that she can pull down a freighter with Force lightning.
Yeah, and sparkly fingers. She didn't realize she could do that. So
no.
I got to say, when that happened, I was like, no, Chewbacca!
But this is my point before on the other podcast when I said there's because it's so fast paced, you don't never get to experience a moment. I was in the cinema too going, oh my God. Oh wait, we moved on.
But
it was quick.
Chewbacca's dead, and they can't just stand there and mourn. They got to freaking escape because the First Order's coming right at them.
Thing, they're like, Ray! And that's the only thing that Finn does all throughout this movie.
Quick side note,
yelling.
What's the only...
Ray!
That's his...
Pow!
I want to know how many times he says it. Anyway, the reason why Rey can use all these Force powers is because she is the grandchild of Emperor Palpatine. That's pretty significant.
Because Sparkly Fingers has always gone well.
That
for
explains so much, though.
Yeah.
He is like Sith Lord, and he has.
So he's back as well.
Oh, we knew that.
In a way that, like, okay, we'll get to that. But how did you feel? Because it's been the mystery box that's been here through this entire trilogy. Who are Rey's parents? And it was like, is it Leia? Has she got that Skywalker blood? Because she's Force sensitive, so they're the only people that are left, right? The Emperor hasn't ever been mentioned really until this.
No.
Until
there were theories
movie.
floating around that she was a
Do we-
Kenobi.
Do we still even hear their names?
Who?
Her parents'
Rey's
names?
parents.
I don't think we do.
No,
So we don't know who they are.
I feel like I guess that's a whole other story is how those people got her.
And
Because one of them
was it
is
her
the
mum
daughter
or
or the
dad?
son of
I
Palpatine.
took it as a way that they were like foster parents. I don't know if one of them was a Palpatine. There is a Palpatine in between because she's the granddaughter.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
You
that
never
yet.
actually hear their names.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And you don't know which one is the bloodline of Palpatine.
Yeah.
I got to say though, when they're speeding through to get to the ship, the
pod racing bit again.
Yeah. That section, and then Rey sees the ship. She's like, "I know that ship," and then they just fucking crash. Straight away, I'm like, "Oh, that's the ship. That's the one."
Yeah.
I was having such a good time.
Like I did like. Like I'm pretty satisfied with her being Palpatine's daughter, and it's one of the many theories that's been out there. I was always like, nah, it won't be, but when it comes around, you're kind of like, and
it makes sense because Kylo is the grandson of someone else
Leia.
good, Darth.
Yeah.
So if you got Emperor
Someone
and
else
Darth, then you got those two. It sort of makes sense.
Yeah, well, it does.
Let's just quickly talk about Palpatine for a minute because he is essentially zombie Palpatine.
Yes, the dark. What do they say? The dark side can do some questionable, unnatural.
Did anyone else think that he had the same lines as in Return of the Jedi?
Oh yeah, he did.
Is he still alive, an actor, or do they just use the same?
No,
actor?
it's the same actor.
Is it?
Yeah. Ian McDermott.
I'm
Back to the zombie thing though. I thought he had a whole zombie army because he does just literally raise them from the ground.
Yeah, and this is one thing that did sit with me, like jumping ahead, but like that final battle at the end, we've got this fleet of the Final Order, which is a kick-ass name, by the way.
Yeah.
All these, what are they called? The big ships?
Star Destroyers.
Star Destroyers. We've got
These-
a fleet
these,
of
yeah.
Star Destroyers.
Actual Star Destroyers.
All with planet-destroying,
Can't
you know,
So let's just quickly go.
Death Star
we had the
weaponry.
Death Star, then we had
Starkiller
Death Star
Base.
2,
Oh, Death Star
Starkiller
2.
Base.
And
Then
now
we
we've got a
had-
fleet of Star... What are they called? Star Destroyers.
There's pretty much one for every planet.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And when Poe actually pointed it out, I was just like, oh, well, that's how you up the Death Star.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
They really took it to the next level.
But the only thing I felt was at that point, and we have like all the rebellion, Lando's brought all the people and everyone's getting there. But it just felt like they were just sitting there. Why didn't the Star Destroyers just hyperspeed out of there? Like, why didn't they just...
Because they got rid of that little aerial.
Well, I know that, but it
they
took
had to
so
shut
long
it down.
to do that.
They literally did not move. The
Like,
whole
it was
thing.
like,
Yeah.
they were just sitting there. Like, it
They
was a
turned
great
their
scene.
engines on eventually.
Yeah. Like, it felt like he brought them up so early.
Yeah.
It's like, what were they doing?
Well, that
Just
whole
coming out.
first scene. So the movie opens and it's Kylo Ren. He's just raging. He's just
At the moment.
full.
And I'm loving it because this is what I liked about Kylo Ren the most is he's so unpredictable with when he chucks his tantrums. and he's
big
going full
tantrum.
tantrum right
My
here.
favourite was Wet Ren. When he walked through the wave, I was like, look at him, he's Wet Ren.
Wet sad,
So good.
sad boy.
He was... Because he was filthy.
Yeah. He
So,
was filthy. But he's
so
trying
Kylo had to
find
go
those-
and get the Sith locator, the
MacGuffin
the
of
map
this film.
that he had to like plug all little bits in, and it took him to where Palpatine
Yeah,
was
what was that
residing.
city called? Derkeby? Xerxes.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Some X word.
No one's gonna remember.
Xanadu.
Exegol?
Yeah,
Exegol,
Exegol.
well done,
Nice.
well done.
That's why you're the Star Wars fan.
You've seen it twice.
Yes.
and we also see Kylo Ren bring his get all the pieces from his helmet and put them all.
Yeah,
he gets like this weird gorilla thing to put it back together, and
This is one of my gripes with Kylo Ren. Leave your hat on. He's so much cooler and more badass when he's got the hat on.
well, but
I
then
think
we
that's
wouldn't
the
see
point,
who
is he's
Ben
supposed
is.
I suppose he's supposed to. Ben is coming out. There's always because Darth Vader never took his mask off until the very end, right? And that's when he was like, oh,
but he was so like menacing, and then he goes, shh, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
it's all gone.
It's totally. But it is obviously foreshadowing that he's going to come to the light side, which I called. And I knew he was. I knew he'd come.
And the other big gripe I had with him and his team, the Knights of Ren, is that they do nothing.
No, just like they did in the first film, they did nothing.
No, they did. They held their weapons. We got to see them
on a cliff.
I got to say the moment that they did have with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, when they turn on.
Oh, sorry, with Ben Solo.
Yeah. Ben now.
Yeah, it wasn't Kylo at that point.
It's fleeting, and they all get flogged. Like the thing is though, they are the coolest looking characters since Darth Vader.
Yeah, and they've done
They
nothing.
don't say a word. They stand on the cliff and they get killed instantly.
They're Boba Fetted.
They literally
Boba Fetted and Captain Phasmid.
They were awful.
They got a lot of
absolutely
again
awful.
Maybe a Disney Plus.
You even see a scene where they're hiding behind like a rock, as when Chewie gets captured, and you're like, "You kidding me? I'm on a rock," and then it cuts away, it cuts back, and he's captured. You don't even get to see him do it.
Yeah.
And then they follow them to that planet, and then they land on the planet, and they've like lost them.
Yeah,
like, they don't even know
behind the asteroid, and they literally just follow them.
Unbelievable.
Where they go.
Just quickly, what do you think going into this film? What were the biggest questions you wanted answered?
Well, Rey's parents.
Rey's parenting.
That was it.
Yeah.
Is Kylo Ren gonna go light side?
Yeah. Big one for me is who the F is Snoke?
Yeah, wasn't that a? It wasn't until you actually said.
Snoke was literally no one. He's
a puppet.
Palpatine. He was
he was like Palpatine, wasn't he?
He was created by Palpatine.
Isn't he like?
Because when we go into Palpatine's Xerxes level or whatever he lives, there was like little tubes with Snokes in there. Yeah. Which is, I'm interested to know more about that, to be honest. I
thought it was literally a puppet. That's what I got out of it.
That's what I'm taking.
But it's interesting though, because in the there's a new comic series about Kylo Ren, and you see his time with Snoke. And you learn how Snoke became the way he did, because
I need to read that.
Luke Skywalker was the one who made Snoke deformed, is what we learn in this comics. So I'm really...
Why wouldn't they put that in the movies?
Yes, because so cool. Snoke to me is not a huge fan.
I haven't read these comics. I've just read a brief synopsis on what it's about. But I was kind of just like, but that Snoke still looks deformed in that cloning tube?
Yeah, it was exactly the same.
So what did Luke do?
You're right.
Well, I was wondering because it was,
unless
it could also be a thing that Snoke was Supreme Leader, badass Jedi, Dark Sith man. Luke Skywalker messed him up, but then they were like, "Oh, Snoke's a little bit messy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
I'm a mess.
He had a late night last night.
I have a
midnight screens. Snoke could have been that thing, and then deformed. But then the Emperor's all like, "Oh, well, let's clone him because I need a front man, right?" Maybe that's what those things were. Maybe they were just clones.
I actually really wanted to see the Keymaker again, Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
DJ.
I'm sure Rian Johnson had this plan for this guy.
Yeah, I know. It's such a weird
He
character.
was literally nothing.
But he almost has set up to have a cool role, and then...
I feel, he should have... I did think that coming out of the film, actually. But, like, saying that, then I'm not really too worried.
How much money would it have cost to get Benicio del Toro to play that? It would have cost him a fortune. He's not cheap. He's a bloody green
It's
actor.
Disney. They're just like, yeah, whatever.
I suppose, yeah.
He was in Guardians. So you come back and do another Star movie.
I don't know what I wanted most out of it. I think I just wanted it to be fun. It was very fun. The comedy was on point.
Yeah.
It was funny.
What did you think about Kylo Ren's journey from Kylo Ren to Ben Solo in this film? I mean, we've known he's conflicted, and then he kind of... When Leia dies and speaks to him and is like, Ben, that's all she says. And then he's just like, oh, Mom. Well, Mama. Yeah, and then Rey's just like, I'm going to take this opportunity to lightsaber you through the chest. And then Rey bitches out and she's like, healing powers.
Rey's got healing powers. We haven't seen that before.
No. The whole bit was a bit wet behind the ears.
That
was one bit where I was in the cinema going...
Literally.
I was like, that's the weakest bit of movie making I've seen.
Well, when Harrison Ford comes in.
No. This is the bit on the bridge when they're all wet ran. At the end of Wet Ran. When he's just smashing Rey, absolutely destroying her.
Well, he doesn't want to kill her.
He was playing with her.
He was playing with her, like he was
that
powerful. And then all of a sudden you hear Leia go, Ben, and he's just like weak as.
I was quite satisfied with it.
And then lightsaber through, and then it was almost reverse Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, it was. She probably not. Yeah, but I was quite satisfied with it, to be honest. Like, because let's be real. Carrie Fisher's dead. we can't come in and make a bigger thing. I'm sure they had a bigger plan for Leia to come in and be a thing, because she is such a pivotal part to the Star Wars universe, and she runs the rebellion, right? She is the rebellion.
Part of me wanted her to be dead in Last Jedi.
Well, I was half expecting before they announced it. They could have written her off in the opening crawl.
But again, this goes back to the difference between The Last Jedi and this one. Is Last Jedi took everything you expected and threw it out the window, starting with him throwing a lightsaber. So you think Carrie Fisher's done? No, mate, she's back. Yeah. We could have easily killed her off here and wrapped it up. It would have been satisfying. Whatever. No, she's back. So I feel like they really kind of wrote themselves into a hole with that. Yeah, and they were like, oh, we can use all this old footage and like we said in the other spoiler-free review, they really wrote around that, and it's obvious
because she said a lot of her dialogue from the back of her head.
Yeah,
it's always the sort of reverse angle, and a lot of the dialogue is the back of her head.
And look, it's fine, it's cool. Like I was like, good effort. I'm not sold, but good effort. I know what you did, and I commend you for it, and it's a great tip of the hat to Carrie Fisher and such a great character. So yeah, good on you guys, but it wasn't seamless.
It's still nice, and they did have Billy Lord speak to Carrie Fisher. It probably wouldn't have been face to face.
Oh, you mean Billy D?
No, Billy Lord is Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Billy D. Williams then.
Yeah, Billy D.
Let's quickly talk about Billy D, little sleazy D.
I was waiting for him to bring his little robot girlfriend.
Is
that in Solo? What movie is that in? Hello.
Yeah, the robot. Yeah, the real feminist robot.
Yeah.
I quickly going back to the transfer of Wet Ren to the good side. Like I thought by Leia doing that, Ben, like in writing, I feel like that's like, but the way it was done, it worked for me. It was really satisfying for me.
Well, because it's after probably one of the more successful action pieces of the movie as well. It's right at the end of it. So
I actually thought that lightsaber fight was pretty meh.
I think they're all pretty weak to be honest, compared to like Revenge of the Sith.
A massive difference is the lightsabers in Revenge of the Sith. They weigh nothing.
Yeah.
Like they can just swing around like freaking crazy and it does nothing. But the lightsabers in these new films, they actually have weight to them and they feel like a powerful weapon.
And they look like claymores too. They look like big things.
They're heavy. And in interviews, they've all said in the training that they were heavy. They were really heavy weapons.
Because it's basically that I felt that fight almost went a little too long because it's just like a lot of. And I know it's to set up that Ren is basically just holding Rey off, which is saying something because we've seen how badass she is. But she's just hacking, and she gets frustrated.
That scene in the throne room where, so Rey goes into the throne room in the ruins of the Death Star. She goes into the room next to the throne room to collect the locator. Has like a quick, brief interaction with this dark Rey
with herself,
and then comes out, and then Kylo's there, and he's just like, the only way you get in there, you're coming with me. Smashes the locator after she just got it, and then she just starts going at him with the lightsaber, and he's just like dodging.
Yeah, he didn't even whip it out. He's just
whip it out,
zigging and zagging.
I thought that was great. It just showed that how good he was. Like,
but like I was saying, I think it went a little too long, that fight. It was because it was just a hack slash sort of fight.
And they jumped over a wave a few times. Like you only do that once, guys.
Cool.
I was really satisfied when Finn was running, and then Rey's just like, and then he just goes flying.
So I was like, good, that's what I feel. Just force push this guy out of the saga,
and
please.
You can see her too, fighting with Kylo, looking back to go, Jesus, is he alright?
Oops.
But then we get Han Solo comes as a vision.
That was such a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting to turn Harrison Ford in this film.
And that, again, in writing, to me, that's lame as hell. But just the way it came together, man,
Yeah, that was a better moment in the movie for sure.
It was so powerful, and it really worked because he says the line, I know what I need to do. I just don't know if I have the strength to do it, which is what he said when he killed Han Solo in the first one in Force Awakens, and this one is to throw his lightsaber away. And I was just like, oh, yes.
Yeah, it was really good.
I thought it was so good. Like, I totally
love to see the
believed
scenes
it
side by
around.
side because in the Force Awakens, it's dark. There's a red glow.
They're in
and
the opposite
then,
positions too. It's mirrored, I think.
Yeah,
from
and,
memory. Yeah,
and the lighting in the new scene, it's all blue and
it's
light.
really light and
It's light side.
yeah.
So you can.
Welcome to the
It's a
light
real
side.
turning point. And I got to talk about the moment when Rey and Palpatine are facing off, and he's like, "You have to kill me, or else I'm going to kill all your friends." Because if once Rey kills Palpatine, she becomes the Empress. All the souls of former Siths going to her. It sounds really cheesy when you say it out loud, but I get it because I understand the Star Wars lore because I'm a freaking massive nerd.
No, it was all like, and that's the thing. A lot of these things at face value can be quite lame, right? Like if you say, "Oh, the transfer to the
Ask me.
but the,
Like, if you don't know the lore and you just watch Star Wars casually, I was looking at that going, "Oh yeah, right."
oh, you were
when she like put the lightsaber behind her, and she actually passed it to Ben.
Well, that's a new Force power, right? They were able to pass
they've
things
had this
through
whole
the...
like we can see each other and interact with each other from
Yeah, and he
across
grabbed the
planets.
necklace and stuff like that off her.
Yeah, so
Which hasn't happened before, right?
I was
No.
We've
not
never seen this
expecting
before.
that.
Yeah,
I'm like, nah, Kylo, how is he going to get to her?
Yeah.
Here's the
This
lightsaber,
connection,
Ben
oh.
Solo, go and
And then
kill all the Knights
and then
of
he
Ren.
destroyed the coolest people on the thing who just
They
just
had
laid
no
over.
chance.
Yeah.
It was a good fight, though. They got at least a good rumble.
Going through with that scene, what did you think of the moment that Kylo and Rey had together once the Emperor was defeated?
Didn't need it.
Are we talking about the kiss?
We're talking
Because
about
that was lame as hell.
Should have been Finn.
That's the only thing that I'm really like, we don't need that. Like me and my brother.
That wasn't a
sexting
romantic
out of it.
relationship.
Like
in
there was
any way.
there was
There was-
sexual tension. I feel there was like but not enough.
Well, especially
that it
in
was-
the Last Jedi when they keep having Force vision and then
he's sitting there
Swallow is there.
Oh, Swallow.
Swallow.
Yeah.
Swallow
And she's like,
AF.
"Can you put a cowl on?"
Yeah. And she's
Nah,
secretly putting it in the wank bank.
That was awful, that bit.
It was
You actually
terrible.
felt the cinema go. "Oh."
Even you were like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
like-
I think
I
I,
was
I
like-
did out loud. I went, ah.
Yeah, you did, because I was feeling it.
But,
But
I can accept it's kind of cute, but
it's one of those things. It's such a cliche thing, right? Like, oh, the bad guy's dead. It's like a nice like meaningful hug would have been enough. Like we
Yeah,
finally
but I
got you
think-
across, man.
Yeah.
Like even just looking at each other was enough. Like
Yeah.
I saw it coming and I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
well, I
don't
thought
do
they
it,
weren't
don't
going to do it. I'm
And
like,
they're not
okay,
gonna
cool,
do
we
They
missed
did
it.
it.
Oh.
But the whole
They did
movie,
it.
Finn and Poe and Ray had this thing. What are you going to say to her? What were you going to say when I got sucked down in the sand? And you think that he's going to, go, Ray, I love you. The whole movie.
Oh, if he did
Yeah,
that.
And
comes
then,
out.
and then that happens. I was like, what the hell was Finn trying to say? And
Well,
you
I-
never find out.
Well,
Well,
I
think it
feel
was
like
a-
Finn's always been the Jacob to the Edward.
Yeah.
The Twilight love triangle
analogy.
thing, right? But then he had Rose. But then everybody hated Rose.
Thank God they wrote her
And they
out.
wrote her out.
Yeah.
And
Wrote
it was
her
like,
out,
oh,
bring a
maybe he's
hobbit
going to
in.
come back.
No, it was
Oh,
just like, you
sorry,
sure you
bro.
don't want to come? She's like, oh, I got to fix a lot of people, ships today. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And he's just like, no worries.
Yeah. And but then Swallow. Can't be
I
swallowed.
don't
was
think
so-
we didn't find out what Finn was going to tell her, but
No, we don't.
But that Rose thing.
do you
was
think
so
it
like-
was? This is just a theory. I don't know, unless we've completely missed it. But maybe Finn was going to be like, "Hey, I'm feeling Force powers and shit." Like,
Could have been.
because
Yeah,
he
'cause
has a few
starts
moments where
feeling
it's just
a
like,
few.
"Oh, the Force."
Yeah. And
I feel like he's winging it.
this is something.
He's just like, something's happening probably.
Actually, when we were talking about stuff that we expected from this movie, there is one thing that didn't come up that I did expect. Because at the end of The Last Jedi, there's that little kid force pulls the
That's right.
broom.
Yeah.
The star.
I'm glad we didn't see. He's got such a punchable face, that kid.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't care so much about that kid, but it's what that was setting up to me, especially when he looks out on the stars, is that there's so
another.
many other people out there that are force sensitive other than
Yeah.
Skywalkers or Palpatine.
But the timeline is only 12 months after The Last Jedi. Like, this kid's probably still a freaking slave.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter about that kid.
That
the
kid's
rest
still
of the
relevant
world
now, though.
he will. Like, I'm sure he'll come back. But
And
what I'm
everyone
saying is, what I got, I didn't necessarily care about the stable kid. I was like, okay, we're going to start seeing other people coming out of the woodwork that are force sensitive.
You are led to believe that Rey is the only one left in the whole place.
Yeah.
Well, we do know there are force sensitive people. Like,
well, there has to be, but it doesn't.
Is force sensitive herself, and
but it didn't come into it as much as I thought, especially because, you know, and again, it's not just the end. This is setting up the rest of the Star Wars world.
And how do you think they did that? Do you think that they've set it up well? Like, at the end we have Rey and the twin sons. I mean, that's iconic. But
yes, like they can go anywhere from there.
They could go anywhere from there, but it's not clear at all.
Effectively, all they did.
I would say the girl on the horse obviously has a role to come.
The chick with the two
with the
pistols.
Disney Plus series, she's going to be. I don't know.
Is she?
What about the Spice Runner on the?
Yeah,
that Poe goes back and she.
The other chick in the helmet.
She's got the guns.
Yeah.
I turned to you and I was like, and when she left, I was like, she's either getting a comic, a game, or a book.
Absolutely.
You know, like
absolutely.
there's all these other things.
They do
but
set up
in
some
terms of setting up the cinematic world, I think they can go anywhere because effectively all this movie did was kill off our old guys.
Well, that's the thing. No one died.
Well, everyone Leia's dead, Han's dead.
There is no more Skywalkers,
Luke's
except
dead.
No, Rey pronounces herself at the end, which is another bit of this movie I hated.
Really, you hated it?
Hated it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a bit of a debate as we walked out of the film.
The worst thing is that Luke and Leia are looking at her when she says it.
Okay, you did make a good point as we left the cinema. You're like, so are Luke and Leia her adopted parents?
No,
their brother and sister?
I think I said, so Rey is now the inbred child of Luke and Leia, I think I said.
Because they are...
Because that lady in the camel would have been like, ew. And just walked off.
Okay. I like it, but I was thinking about it later. I was like, it was kind of a weird way of doing it. This random chick in a camel ask her... Why would she ask her her last name? Like, who cares? Her name's Rey. But saying that, I think that... Again, that's something that in writing is terrible. Like, I'm like, no, I thought it was pretty terrible. The way it came together, again, uber nerding over here, the crescendo of the music, the twin sons, I'm like,
burying
and I'm totally
lightsabers.
burying the lightsabers. But effectively, it brings the theme of the movie together. Because what Luke says is that, you know, yes, Luke, I'm Luke Skywalker, but I'm not this god. It's the idea of me that is this god, and that's why the movie's called The Rise of Skywalker, right? It's the idea of the light side of Skywalker being the best, like being the good guy, right?
Yeah.
And so she's been labeled a Palpatine. And
she's
it goes to show, and everyone's always like,
last name.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, you're as evil as, like everyone's like, you're as evil as your bloodline and whatever. But Luke showed that it isn't, because Darth Vader was like the big bad at the time, and it's come around. So by her pronouncing herself as a Skywalker is her ditching any sort of connection to the dark side, and like, yes, in some ways it's a lame way of doing it, but
I just would have had her say, I'm like Rey, and just get her to say
I thought
Rey
she was going
really positively and strongly,
Well,
because the whole time she was
I really thought she was.
And then you get the same sort of thing, because then you sort of get full circle. She's confident in who she is.
Yeah.
Happy who she is.
Rey does say to her, Leia says at one point to her that don't be ashamed of your...
Or get her to say Rey Skywalker and not have Luke and Leia staring her in the eyeballs.
Yeah, but it was cool. Like it's another bookend to the other movies.
Such a weird end of the movie, because
I like it.
It's a nod to Return of the Jedi. But
she's got like the most powerful Force person in the world. And she can't walk down a sand dune, so she gets a little toboggan and rides that down. And an 87-year-old lady with a camel sneaks up on her.
But again, like in terms of writing, like why? Like I almost feel like she should have been filling out a form. It's like, no, we need a last name. Skywalker, I guess. Oh yeah, she's a Skywalker.
Yeah, she's renting. She's renting a car.
Yeah, she's renting a pod racer.
We can accept this scene, please.
She's becoming a. I was really satisfied with it, and this is I think this is the biggest thing. But like in retrospect of going back, and when you talk about things, like even you said something before, you're like, when I was saying it out loud, it kind of sounds lame. But when you're in the movie, and I guess the lead up from the whole saga and everything in between, And I have to just give a mad tip of the hat to the makers of this film. Like J.J. Abrams, whatever people say about him, he crafted this film perfectly for what it is. Like, because he can make lame lines like that work by the mixture of music and the choice of visuals. And everything just worked for me. Like, I was so satisfied with everything that the choices that they did. And that's the difference between this and Last Jedi. Like I said before, Last Jedi went against everything that we expected, whereas this one was kind of almost giving us what we wanted. Yeah. And
well, it was very fan service heavy.
Yeah,
especially that scene with Rey when she, what was it? Be with me, or what she says, be with me.
Yeah, and all the voices come through.
Oh,
you get a
Qui-Gon.
yeah.
There's a lot there, and I took a photo of the credits.
Oh, right. Nice. Yeah. So who do we get?
Please don't sue me, Disney.
Do you want me to name him?
I
didn't recognise him.
I took a terrible photo.
No, Yoda.
You can't miss Yoda.
I'm pretty sure this is order of appearance. Actually, no, it's not order of appearance. Anakin Skywalker, voiced by Hayden Christensen, is there. You've got Luminara. She was a Master Jedi in the prequels. Ahsoka Tano, which I'm so glad that she
Ahsoka was there. I thought we heard Ahsoka.
Yep, and the same
She's
voice
from the
actor.
Clone Wars.
Yep. Ayla Secura, she was a Master Jedi from the prequels too. Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I
heard Samuel.
He had a line in there.
Qui-Gon was in there as well.
Obi-Wan Kenobi was a voice there, and it's credited to Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness because I think they included that line where he just says Rey, like they did in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Obviously Yoda was in there. Kanan Jarrus, who's from the Rebels series, voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, that's when we were walking out, I was like, Freddie Prinze Jr. did a voice? Was that just like, oh, hey, Freddie, come in? But apparently he's a part of the show.
And Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
That's
fantastic. Pretty cool. I was waiting for a Darth Vader voice, like, Rey, everything the light side touches. It didn't come. I'm kind of like, I guess Hayden Christensen was there. But that was a cool scene too. Like, again, fan servicey sort of stuff.
And I'm kind of glad we didn't see all these people.
Nah, we didn't.
I think
like that would have just been really heavy on the fan service. Like a line from each of them.
It is a fan service heavy movie.
And that's what they needed to do though. Like I feel like because the Force Awakens was a retread. Whereas this is a fan service while telling us a new story. And as basic as you can say it is and how convoluted or whatever you want to say, it's like, as a fan, I am satisfied. And that's the big difference between what I'm reading from the critics, because critics are railing on this. This is the second lowest scoring.
Yeah, it's in the
like Phantom Menace is 51%, and this one's like 59%.
Low,
which does my head in, because The Last Jedi got 91%, and to me this is a much better film than The Last Jedi. Much, like, I'm not saying I don't like The Last Jedi, but this is where it came together, and we got the new characters. They're all together. I don't know, it really works for me.
Well, let's also keep in mind that the film isn't even out in the United States at the moment when we're recording this. So we've got a whole market to open up.
There's a whole continent there to open it up to.
Like the biggest fan base.
So we'll see where this goes. We all enjoyed it, and I think that's all that matters. So let's not forget that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was good fun to watch.
I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah.
But I am excited to see what America thinks of it, because I'm sure we're getting a lot of American critics already talking about it.
Yeah, I mean,
but like the actual fans, because the fans hated Last Jedi, did the fans love this one?
And I would probably say a lot of the critics aren't uber fans as well. Like you guys are, because I would say that I probably got a lot less out of the movie than you guys. Totally. But it's bloody good fun to watch.
But saying that also, like, I consider myself a bit of a movie critic. I watch a lot of movies, and I will tear a movie apart if it is like some of the things in The Last Jedi. I was like, sort of thing. But I, like, as a whole in a film, and again, it'll be interesting to watch it again, because this is where I'm really gonna cement my opinion, watching it for a second time, because I'm not fanboying as much. But for me, I felt everything. I was with it the entire time.
And it's all done.
Yeah.
And
cool beats.
Boys, on that note, thank you for finally bringing this in, Fish.
I can't
He's had this at home next to his bed.
It's in my bedroom. It's my cuddle buddy.
Well, better that than the teat of that other thing.
I couldn't find the plush of that guy.
All right, we need to wrap this up. But a quick honourable mention: Chewie gets his medal.
Oh,
Yeah.
When that happened,
nice.
I was like, "What is that?" Oh,
Yeah,
he got
his
his
medal.
medal
He got
because
his
everyone
medal.
was always like, "Oh, he got
never
left
got the
out."
medal.
Yeah, so good. Maz Kanata. I thought Maz Kanata was going to kiss him because she's always like, "Where's my boyfriend?"
Well, speaking of kisses, we got a gay kiss in Star Wars, which is just like with the times.
It was,
Again, though, it was another thing that you just don't like. Why?
it was ticking a box.
It is ticking a box, yeah.
But
It's 2019
but I will
people, we
say,
can
like,
have
a
it
kiss in Star Wars.
it wasn't as on the nose as something like the all-female push in Endgame. At the end in the fight when it's like all the girls come together. And
I
it's
thought
like,
they really stuffed that up though. That scene.
That was a cool scene, but it was whatever.
Right,
That's a whole
different
thing.
movie.
Yeah.
But saying that, like yes, they ticked that box, but it didn't irk me. Did it irk you?
I think I don't know.
You almost said it was almost forced.
It's one of two kisses in the movie,
And the other one we didn't want either.
and the other one we didn't want either. Yeah.
I'm not saying that
I
we
don't
didn't
know,
want this kiss. Like
It's sort of funny because it's set up as such a background sort of movement, but it's so the focal point.
Yeah, they're really like, all right.
Yeah.
I thought
Another
Rose was
honourable-
going to hook up with Chewbacca.
Well,
she
Rose-
picks him up.
Yeah.
She's free now.
Poor Rose.
Finn ain't loving her anymore.
What do you
Rose.
think of Rey's new lightsaber? It's obviously
gold.
her staff.
Oh, the gold one.
Yeah, it's
that's cool.
like the design looks very similar to her
I'm-
staff that she.
Yeah.
I wanna know how they
why not?
made
There's lots
them.
of colours of them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the time.
I mean, Mace
frame is
Windu's got a
between-
purple one, doesn't he?
Yeah,
So-
there's gold. There's a gold one in.
Because you need those
Oh, there's-
crystals
yeah,
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
them, right? So yeah.
Well, she
Where
could-
she got
should
that
go
crystal?
to a
That's a
temple.
comic series.
No, I'm
That's
happy with that. Yeah.
Anything else worth mentioning? Obviously not. I'm sure we've got a lot more.
hang on.
Poe and Rey being nitpicky at the start. They kind of hate each other.
Oh, no,
she's
that was
like-
good fun. Come
It
on.
was good. It was a bit of fun, but I want to know more about that. I want to know. I want to see more of that. That was fun. I really liked it. She was like, "You are a difficult man." I'm like, "Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo." Because
I
Poe
think
is a hothead. Like he's.
I think
always-
it was more there for the comedic value rather than.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is
And,
totally.
I-
But I want to. Obviously, there's a whole story of this resistance getting. I don't know if it's in the book.
Anyway,
I haven't finished it.
That's
First time C-3PO's got a laugh out of me.
Oh, C-3PO
he
got a
was
lot of stuff.
great in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was so good. And speaking of droids, the new droid that we get
No, thank
introduced
you.
to, Dio.
No, thank you.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
I
great.
was
We were
really,
a bit weird when we were like.
when we were.
I was a bit like,
Like he's like a hairdryer. What did you say? A spray bottle?
He looks like a spray bottle.
oh no, I thought he was Pixar.
And fun fact, he was voiced by J.J. Abrams.
Oh, was
That's
he?
awesome.
Oh, there you
No,
go.
thank you.
Speaking of
Way
cameos,
to write yourself
John
into a
Williams
series.
was the.
It was John Williams.
It was the bartender.
Oh, I thought
looked
it
in the
was.
credits. Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah,
He
there's a
just-
part where they walk past and John Williams he's got like an eyepiece or something. He's behind
Yeah.
the bar.
that's great considering he has scored all the Star
saga
Wars.
films.
Oh man, and it's worth going to see this movie just to listen to the music.
Yeah, that might be the last thing he ever scores.
Could be.
He's someone was saying because he's like 80 something.
Yeah, it could be.
So, yeah. That'd be
Anyway.
sad.
Anyway, that's our thoughts on Star Wars. Thank you for listening to us dribble on for a good half an hour there. So please let us know what you think, and if there's anything we've missed, let us know.
I'm sure there is somewhere in there.
Yeah, we're
there's so
going to
much
have to
more
see it
to talk
again.
about
I mean,
this,
I
yeah.
have seen it twice, but the second screening, I was a very sleepy boy. So,
Jules will see it
We'll
5
ponder
times
on
by
this.
the end of next week.
and I think just it's worth mentioning that we're expecting a new Star Wars film to be announced in January.
Oh, really? That
For
early?
2022. So that's not too far away. Don't know what it's going to be. That's just the rumors at this stage.
Well,
So-
they're gonna fill in the gaps with Disney Plus shows. So
Sounds awesome.
Well, we've got The
already
Mandalorian to
getting
watch.
series, and There's the
Anyway,
the guy
speaking of,
from-
we got 2 episodes of that to watch, so I want to go home.
All right.
All right, catch it.
See ya.